Today I'm going to talk about how content and not technology will save education. About a year ago, I was sitting in my kitchen with my then 11-year-old daughter who asked for some help on her maths homework. And I tried to help her and I couldn't, so I asked for her textbook. And she said, "Mommy, you're in technology. We don't use textbooks anymore." I said, "Fair enough. Let's get online." A half an hour later, we found the answer to this fairly complicated problem on YouTube, of all places. And so I thought, okay, half an hour searching for the answer, 1 minute to get the answer on a video. That's not what I would call efficiency by any technological standard. Content is king. Content efficiency is when you get enough learning bang for your buck from a piece of content. Take this image of clandestine. It's a bear being lowered on a wire down into an infrared light protecting a computer so he can hack into it. That's clandestine. You don't need a lot more information to immediately process that that's what clandestine means. Education is about content. Education is the transfer of language, knowledge, wisdom, values and practices from one generation to the next to prepare children for a happy and productive life. It's about content. Beware the over-promise of technology, I would say to you as a techie. Being a techie, the natural instinct is to jam content into an app, gamify it, and call it edtech. But you can't just wash a piece of mediocre content into a whirring, blinking machine that looks newfangled and exciting and expect it to seep into little minds. You've got to do a lot more than that. The teacher is the hero here. Being a techie, we want to disintermediate everything in pursuit of efficiencies. But we pass on the future to our children through their teachers, through wisdom, knowledge, values, and stories. The teacher is the bard through the Socratic method of discussion, expert training and apprenticeship, collaborative research. All of us remember our favorite teachers growing up. We took classes because of those teachers. Many of us chose a career because of those teachers. Teachers are there to counsel and support children in their moments of need. The teacher is the hero, and yet they're overworked. They're forced to create content when they don't even have the expertise, many of them buying it out of their own pockets. I have to ask you, now let's look at some practical examples. Do you call this a superhero? Noun girl. Noun girl. Or do you call this a superhero from the Avengers? We've just experienced a renaissance in technology and storytelling in the world that we've never seen before. And yet, ask any mother with children aged 6 to 16, and she will tell you that her 6-year-old is still bringing home the same dreary worksheets, noun girl, the superhero, that her 16-year-old brought home a decade ago. And we have superheroes like this today. No amount of airbrushing in the world is going to turn noun girl into a superhero that engages children. Having said that, anyone in Hollywood will tell you that no amount of technology is going to turn this into a superhero, because what is engaging content? It's about character and story. It's about the simple essence of it. Another example, which owl here is nocturnal? It's obvious that this owl is nocturnal, dark, endangered, unblinking, and scary. And yet, children still bring home worksheets that look like an Easter egg stapled to a twig. And you wonder why kids want to be on devices. But help is on the way. Recently, I came across an exciting web-based teaching tool that promised this: preparing students for the 21st century is easy. Wow. Okay. So what did they promise? leading high-quality, engaging global content, proven digital platform, modular online content, empowers and supports teachers, gives students real-world critical thinking skills, real-time assessment, automatic grading features, powerful data-driven analytics, personalized instruction, saves time and maximizes efficiency, created for tech-savvy kids, and fun. Whoa, I couldn't believe it. Well, it was too good to be true, because it was more dreary web-based worksheets. Read this passage and tell me what the word dissipate means. Here are a list of YouTube links with video writing prompts. Speech is different from text. In English, nothing sounds like nothin'. Okay, is that all we've got? Is that really all we've got? Let's reframe this in economic terms, because ultimately, education is about future transfer. The transfer of a future from one generation to the next. Or in other words, how do you get a job? Thomas Friedman in The Age of Acceleration, the well-known writist and columnist for the New York Times, said, in the ideal education system, businesses translate content from the world into the education system. If you'll indulge me in some Hollywood images, I'm going to condense 40,000 years of education into 3 short slides. We went from this, crude, to create this innovation, not on this device, obviously, by virtue of an education system, a tedious one, designed to deliver this, people who behave like robots on a global industrial scale. Today, the irony, it took us 40,000 years to teach people how to behave like robots on a global industrial scale. And it's going to take us about 40 years to teach robots how to behave like people. If the point of education is to prepare children for the future, passing on the required knowledge, wisdom, values, and practices, then we're all a bit stuck. We're lost. Because the rate of change is just so fast. The iPhone barely existed 10 years ago. This is a snapshot of our children's job market by a well-known futurist named Thomas Frey. These are the kind of jobs in 2030 that are up for grabs, either by people who behave like robots or robots who learn how to behave like people. My children sitting in the audience today, 8 and 12, will be applying for some of these jobs. Drone dispatcher, brain quants, plant psychologists, extinction revitalists, robotic earthworm drivers, time hackers, clone ranchers, time brokers, space-based system designers, plant educators, amnesia surgeons. How will these cute kids get these jobs? Clone rancher and memory augmentation therapist. And if they do get these jobs and have the skills for it, are they going to lead a happy and fulfilled life? We don't know. But we need a plan, a devious plan. It's going to take the work of a genius and a madman to plan for this new kind of uncertain future and to infiltrate the mind of a child. There's a whole shadow economy out there of education, of people pouring money and creativity into apps, after-school clubs, tutoring. And what's happening is the gap is becoming bigger. The people who can afford to tap into this are becoming better educated. And learning outcomes and equality are deteriorating. A vision for the education system is to marry creativity with science, to create new educational content. This means content will have to have an information advantage, more expertise, more research, better language. We can't keep presenting our children with noun girl and expecting them to rise to the occasion. Content's going to have better production values. We've got to tap into all those resources and creativity that are going into Hollywood, from character design and storytelling, and bring it into the education system. We need, and this is very important, an ethical framework. We are not going to cross through the world at the rate of change it's going through in artificial intelligence and social media without constantly reframing our value system. Ethics needs to be more deeply ingrained in the education system and into the teaching psyche. The teacher will always be the hero. In search for learning efficiencies, you cannot disintermediate the teacher without losing steam. you need emotion to fuel engagement. And you need love. At the end of the day, it's all about love. Learning, love of books, love of asking questions, all of future transfer, why we invest so much time and energy into passing on a future to our children as parents and as educators is about our burning need and desire for love. Thank you.